Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, beautiful, beautiful, magnificent individual. Today, I would like to speak about the morning is the best time of creation and, well, holding and building a certain stream for the day. Because when you wake up in the morning, you come directly from your astral and ego into your body again, so that all four of your sheaths are kind of aligned again within your physical manifested body. When your astral and ego is more or less just about arrive back into your being again, is when you still are very much creative and kind of clairvoyant still. You see, the dream world doesn't disappear although we are awake in our everyday, day-to-day consciousness. It is just that our astral body has gone back into our physical being. So by in the morning, kind of still being awake to this cloudy, misty, hazy clairvoyance we do have, that is still very much active and creative within us, and trying to grab a hold of it and strengthening it. And by you directing with your will, you can guide it towards what is healthy, uplifting, constructive for yourself, for those around you, and for all of mankind, humankind. So, by being aware of the astral world that is behind everything in a sense, you start to become more and more active within your faculties of perception, that is direct perception. Let's say you use your time on actually observing a tree as clearly as possible, seeing its structure, seeing its life force in, well, there are many ways. It is all about stimulating that imagination so that we can align it directly towards what the right forces are. Because everything is alive and has a certain built up individual structure to it, personality, differentiation. In spiritual science, the most important things we do is to differentiate, to separate, and to group, and to, well, define. Not define as in crystallize, but we see the many differences to bring more and more life into our soul and spirit. You see, the more details and the more individual human beings you can perceive at the same time on this planet Earth, the more true life you bring it, the more reality you bring it. Think about every single human being was born at a specific spot with specific parents and had a specific upraising, and because of it, and because of the many experiences, and because of the many people, and because of the many impulses from the spiritual world, you have been formed and shaped to who you are today. And every single thing was purposeful. The wise guidance of the world has made you who you are today. And now you are to work with what you have to rearrange, to heal, and to restructure your being so that it can become as much help as possible for all of mankind. So the more you heal yourself, the more of a clear inspirational voice you can become. And in the morning, it is easiest to connect to these inspirations and imaginations. It brings life to things. It is like using a muscle. You need to exert yourself a little to actually be able to connect, but not like straining yourself to almost poop your pants, but you need to actively do this with interest. I'm so going to tattoo that word, interest. So it was a joke, or maybe not. But the holding the interest for the spiritual work, for development, for longing to unfold, purify, ennoble, and uplift ourselves so that we can actually perceive the spiritual realm. Because we need to lift ourselves up. You see, the higher realms, the Devakan and the highest, do not allow evil in. It does not allow any kind of immorality. So if we have any of these things, we are not allowed in, we are thrown out. So we need to be as pure as possible to reach as high as possible. So that includes in deeds and in feeling and in thoughts too. Every single day, this is what we do. It might sound like, well, that is only based on your and the person that listens to its values in life. But it might sound boring, but no. It seriously is a whole new world. And it is about connecting to it and being able to sit in it. Because it requires active, conscious sustaining, And that is like a muscle. And once you do this enough, once you do this every day, once you do this over longer periods of time, it sticks. It must stick. It has to stick. But only those things that truly is healthy for you. Because you also, on top of it all, ask for help from higher realms and ask them to protect you against any temptations that might be against and a hindrance towards the development of all of humankind. So any temptation that might want to live within us is not allowed there because it is Father's being, That is, and to have that feeling of responsibility, the temple of, this is a temple and we should hold it clean, and because no one wants to be in this temple if it is not clean, if it is not dusted and cleared all the corners and built it strong and sturdy so you know that you are safe in there. It is all about these small details, And that is the spiritual part of us. Our behaviors, our act of conduct, our inner being and our auras in general. What radiates out of it. Because it does radiate out of it. And that is the responsibility of feeling we should have. Should. Not need to. We should. Freedom, And this freedom we only have because we have been given the opportunity to err in two different directions. To bring error in two different directions. The Ahrimanic or the Luciferic, as I have said before. Be dragged out of the body or pushed down into it. Losing the spiritual. But in the middle, it's like walking on a tightrope with two abysses on each side and holding to that tightrope constantly. Even when the wind blows, even when a hurricane comes, even when anything, and that is easier said than done, but the work is always worth it. That is the thing. It requires practice, steadying, and consciousness. And through the morning, by setting these intentions, setting that, atmosphere to allow yourself to build these things. You do so over the day, over the weeks, over the months, But it is all about dedication and resolve too. We need, it has to be resolve there. It must be interest there. If it is not interest, if it feels like a drag, if it feels like you force yourself, it is not, you haven't found yours. You haven't found your love for it. You should find your love for it because, well, I found my love for it because I have a real connection to it. It is a living feeling, but you will have to study and to prepare and to find the right concepts and symbols to deepen your faculties and your inner being to be able to connect directly to them themselves. That means you must lift yourself up enough so that you can get a feeling for them. And you probably already have. That is the thing. If you have a love for life, if you wake up and actually thanks God and thank for my life, you are grateful for what you have right now. You are counteracting Ahriman, his fears and his lack mentality, his must accumulate power and wealth and everything. Being grateful for what you have is strengthening the Christ principle in you, because you're grateful for what you have right now. And that feeling, it is a sustaining feeling. You have to sustain it actively. You see how heavy these works are. This is interest and resolve, and holding that helps you. You help mankind by doing that. You hold a steady stream, a steady example, a steady aura by doing that, and it is never in vain. And well, in the morning, as I always come back to this, but the mornings is what allows for a certain clairvoyant imagination and creativity, so that you can set up the stream for the day, so that you can actually have a certain foundation for every single day. And to not every time you wake up you just distract yourself with TV or distract yourself with something that, and all of a sudden you almost forgot that you had woken up, really, because you were still in the dream realm although you were awake. You see? But instead you actually are conscious here and observing and becoming acquainted with yourself even in the morning when you are a sleepyhead. And I will leave you with this. I love you. May you find your amazing, beautiful path. May you get acquainted with your physical, etheric, astral ego and connect to the Christ in the etheric. May the higher hierarchy, Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, ancient masters of all of our ancestors from every incarnation, bless, protect, guide, and love you, and may you awaken, and may we connect to the spiritual world right here and now on this wonderful, wonderful path we are all on. Every single individual, every single one. Love you. Goodbye.